Okay, guys, this is the last thing in your adjectives unit, and then we can do the review next week and take a test. So you have, this is it. We want to learn about what I like to call the third thing in a sentence. If you have a subject and you have a verb, sometimes you have this third thing called a complement. You don't always have it, but if you have a predicate nominative, a predicate adjective, a direct object, or an indirect object, you have that third thing. They are going to depend, deciding what kind of complement you have depends on what kind of verb you have. If you have a linking verb, you are only going to get a predicate nominative, which is a noun in the predicate, or a predicate adjective, which is an adjective in the predicate. If your verb is action, you're only going to get a direct object and maybe an indirect object. You have to memorize this, and a lot of the time, the reason that some of my 10th graders and 11th graders still have trouble is because they just didn't memorize this chart in the 7th grade, and you're done with it. So get this in your head, and you're going to be great, because I'm not going to change anything except add one more complement next year. But we only need to work with these 4. So let's look at a few examples. Let's do just predicate nominatives, which are nouns. It'd be great if they would call them predicate nouns, wouldn't it? But anyway, they call them predicate nominatives. She is my teacher. Very first thing we always do is look at the verb. The verb is linking and not action, so we can look for a complement. Complements are not going to be found in prepositional phrases, and that doesn't mean that your sentence might still have a prepositional phrase in it, but your complement will never, ever, ever be in a prepositional phrase, and it won't be the prepositional phrase. So let's just repeat that. Pretend like you're in class. Will you have a complement inside a prepositional phrase? No, never. And will a prepositional phrase be a complement? No, because I've already told you these 4, or someday 5, will be your only complements in the English language. I don't have any sentences here with prepositional phrases, but I just want to make that clear. Anyway, okay, first one, she is my teacher. Is a linking verb. Who or what is my teacher? She, so there's my subject. And then I want to look after that and see, do I have a noun or an adjective? Since I do have a linking verb, I want to see if I have a complement. Teacher is a noun. Let's see if it links or equals the subject. It does. And so she is a predicate nominative. Teacher is a predicate nominative and a complement. Mr. Phillips was our sub. Was is a linking verb, not an action verb. Who or what was our sub? Mr. Phillips, that's our subject. Now let's see if I have a noun. I do. Sub. And does that link or equal back to Mr. Phillips? Yes, Mr. Phillips equals the sub. Sub is the complement, and it is also a predicate. We're going to call it, what kind of complement is it? It's a predicate nominative. Sorry, that was jumpy with the camera. Evelyn is our daughter. Verb is, who or what is Evelyn. And let's see what we have after is. We have a noun. Does daughter link or equal Evelyn? Yes. So I have another complement. And what kind of complement is it? It's a predicate nominative. Let's do some that aren't nouns. First sentence, she is silly. Is your verb. It's clearly not an action verb. Who or what is silly? She. So she is the subject. And then silly is not a noun, it's an adjective, but it still links back to she. It still equals she. And so we do have a complement. It's just a predicate adjective this time. That's the soup tastes gross. Look at the verb, tastes. Let's see if it's a linking verb. Sometimes tastes can be an action verb, right? But let's see if we can make it link. Who or what tastes gross? The soup. And then we're going to go after tastes and see what do we have. We have an adjective. Let's see if it links back to soup or equals soup. Yes, the soup equals gross. So we do have a complement. I would circle it or something. And if you want to call it what kind of complement it is, it's a predicate adjective. That rule is ridiculous. Is your verb. Who or what is ridiculous? Rule is your subject. And then ridiculous is an adjective. Let's see if it links back to rule or equals rule. Yes, the rule equals ridiculous. And so I do have a complement. It is ridiculous. And it's a predicate adjective. Okay, so that's the linking verb side of complements. Let's do the action verb side in orange. Coach Morgan hired me. Verb, hired. We can see that's an action verb. Who or what hired me? Coach Morgan is my subject. And hired who or what? That's a direct object question. And if you have an answer to that, then you need to label it direct object. And kind of, if you circle it, that can be how you can identify your complements. So I do have a complement. It is a direct object. Lecrae wrote unashamed. Wrote is an action verb. Who or what wrote? Lecrae. That's the subject. Wrote who or what? That is a direct object question, and he wrote unashamed. So I do have a complement, and the type of complement I have is a direct object. Maggie brought me some candy. Brought, not a linking verb, right? Taste, feel, smell, sound, look, appear, become, seem, grow, remain, stay, plus being verbs. Brought is an action verb, clearly. Who or what brought me candy? Maggie, she's my subject. What did she bring? She didn't bring me. She didn't pick me up and bring me anywhere. She brought candy. So brought who or what? The answer to that question is candy. That's a direct object question. So I do have a complement, but I have another complement because who did she bring the candy to? Me. That is the indirect object. So I have actually two complements in that sentence. This is the chart that you need to do this page, which is 186, and this, which is 187, and that's all. So exercise A and B. I want you to do this final section of adjectives and take the quiz that I will send to you. And you have today and Saturday to do it. So if you have a ton of work due today, then just put English off until tomorrow. I promise this will take you 2 minutes. This will take you 3 minutes. And the quiz I'm going to send you might take you 5 minutes. So you're looking at a very short English lesson, but you can absolutely take until Saturday night to do it. But I do expect that quiz back on Saturday night. And if you have questions, you can always call me, right? And we can, you just always want to treat a phone call like raising your hand in class. And some of you have been doing that, and that's great. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and I will see you later.